All right. What's up, Bitcoin Radio? It is your man, Joe Blackburn, joined today with none other than Jim Scampoli. As usual, folks, I hope everybody's doing great leading up to Christmas. I obviously, want to give a big shout out here to Jim, co-host of the show. Jim recently completed his Turnt for Tots or Turnt Tots. How did I say that right, Jim?
We get Tots Turnt.
Tots Turnt.
Getting Tots.
Why didn't you correct me before this? Whatever. Anyways, I hope everybody's doing great. As Bitcoin made a slight tumble today to about $7,200. We've been sitting around doing our thing. I've been a little bit sick and congested myself over the last day or so, and but nothing's going to stop the Bitcoin radio train, and that is us today. And I hope everybody, as we're waiting for people to hop on the show. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you, my man. Adam, you were first. Congratulations. I like that. Well done. I wish I had a prize to give you, but we're too busy worried about tots being turned to hand anything over today. But we'll get into that here shortly. As I said, Bitcoin around $7,200. Jim, I know you're doing okay, man. How's it been going?
Oh, not bad. Like as you said, on my show, jimandthem.com, we were running a toy drive. We call it Getting Tots Turned. Our listeners were donating and very generous. We got about $3,500. We got to go on a little toy shopping spree. We got stuff for kids of all ages. We also, we got stuff for kids for all ages. Then we brought it over to the local fire department here in Las Vegas. They do a Fill the Fire Truck toy drive. They kind of know us at this point. We've been doing this for a few years. Rolled up with a bunch of toys. We also went into Walmart, grabbed a few names off the gift tree, and bought some stuff for kids from there. And we even had a little left over. We went over and made some payments, some anonymous payments on people's layaways. So
wow,
really good. It felt really good. A lot of people supported, so it's much appreciated. It is that time of year. Obviously, everyone's got their own thing going on. People got to do their own Christmas shopping, but it's always nice when people kind of give a little bit back, make sure other people have a great Christmas. So
absolutely,
much appreciated.
No doubt. And, I want to make sure that that people are aware, like, it is the giving season, and whether or not you agree with certain types of, whether it's faith or the holiday itself, it's always a good time to give, folks. And, if you listen to my last podcast, I give Bitcoin.io on. There's a lot of cool things that you could do with them. Giving anything to somebody else without expectations is always something that I find one of the most endearing and honorable qualities into a human being. But, obviously we have bitcoinforchristmas.com. If you were looking for or looking how to give Bitcoin, obviously that's a wonderful place to start. But, as Mal spelled, and as Patrick, myself, you, Josh, Ashley, she said choo choo after I said train. What's up, Ash? I hope your new your abode in Colorado is as charming as the video look that you sent me. Congratulations on your move recently. But also, there's a lot going on right now, and I wanted to kind of take a moment to almost even reflect back over the year. And as we turned over the new year from 2018 to 2019, ready to forget that year, 2018 was a disaster for most of us, right? So we always talk about 2017, oh, boom. But 2018, not that it goes unrepresented. It definitely goes represented. It's just obviously in a very negative connotation. But, as Bitcoin was able to recover, and even still today, we're double what we were at that bottom. We're over double what we were at that bottom. People have forgotten that, and they have forgotten that, 100% gain, which we're over 100% gain, is what you would have received at the beginning of this year. That's a win, folks. That's a win, not just for like if you were holding Bitcoin. It's a win for Bitcoin. It's a win for Bitcoin to be able to recover at a point where, had its that really extreme run up, 2017, over exhaustedly talked about. I talk about it all the time. The good old days, right? But that way back down, Jim, was obviously tumultuous, and that was 2018. I'm ready to forget that year, and I don't really want to forget 2019, although it hasn't been ideal as far as what did we end up doing, how high did we end up getting. First off, the year's not over yet. I don't want to forget that. Anything can happen. But as the year is winding down, I definitely want to be thankful for Bitcoin's at least recovery from that 3,000, 2,900 area where we ended up now today at 7,200.
Now, I'm a bit newer to the space. What is the potential that we're we're going through an every other year type deal. We got 2017 good year, 2018 bad year, 2019 pretty good year overall. We heading into a bad year, my dude. Is
I don't think
my
so.
calculations
Look, I can see why you would say that, and I think it's a really good point. You might feel that way. I don't want to speculate too much on what the price is going to be tomorrow or even next week. That's not my forte. I don't do that best. I think most people listening to me probably know that as well. But what I do is I do have faith, and I'm very, very loyal to what Bitcoin is, what it stands for, what it is already, but what it's also becoming as as not just an industry or not just a way of transactions, but what the revolution has kind of meant for a lot of people in this space already. But it's not getting smaller, and I want to remind people that we're not getting smaller, folks. It's not like we have less people that know about Bitcoin. Only more people know about Bitcoin. And there's not really a lot of bad things you can say about Bitcoin itself outside of obviously the fluctuations and the volatility of the price. And if you're on the wrong side of that, you could probably find some bad things to say. But as an actual entity, Bitcoin itself, there's only positives unless you are the government, and that's it. But governments aren't living. Governments are a I guess a representation of the living, and governments don't tend to appreciate what Bitcoin stands for. Now, that being said, Jim, you already know my opinion on this, but clearly, folks, and most of you do as well. I see us as very, very, very close to that next big move. And why is that, Jim? The halving's coming up in May, so I look forward to the halving, and I don't anticipate having a bad year, at least leading up to that. I mean, I can't imagine.
Well, allow me to retort, my dude,
Sure.
because I'm a little bit more fresh here. I'm not as maybe you, Joe Blackburn, as like a Bitcoin old timer. Maybe you're blinded. You might have your blinders on.
Yeah, good point.
You might not even know what you're talking about, as far as I'm concerned, because the FUD might be hitting me. The FUD's taking me left and right. I'm seeing the headlines. There's this gentleman by the name of Peter Schiff.
Oh yeah.
Schiff. Now, I mean, I don't know a lot about this guy, but basically, he's telling me that Bitcoin's nothing but pump and dump. You're telling me that new people know about Bitcoin. That might be true, but are new people buying Bitcoin, or are we just all trading the same Bitcoin around to the same people? I'm just playing the devil's advocate. Prove me wrong.
No, you're not playing devil's advocate there. You're actually bringing up some great points. And at times, you are correct. We are just going back and forth trading the Bitcoin to each other. New money has to enter the space for it to become, a market that's growing, obviously, or something has to happen to make Bitcoin really rare. If people actually recognize the rarity, because it's so prevalent and so easy to go buy, these days, it's become one of those things that we're so used to that it's always available. Someone's always selling their Bitcoin, so therefore you can always go buy it, and you can put your bid. You can go to essentially an auction. Hey, I bid this much. Will you accept my bid for your Bitcoin? And it's been a seller's market. And Fred Krueger brought up a really good point about the 10 days of Bitcoin a year, or the 10 days of the market for Bitcoin, where, Bitcoin's rises are typically within a 10-day period on the markets. And, he's obviously referencing Mr. Lee when he said that, but it's such a true point, and it has been for some time, but it wasn't always like that. Like we're being exposed to a certain amount of FUD because people are so expecting of a certain movement, right? But the traders, they only control the market when there is no other new money. When new money enters, traders don't own the market anymore, right? Whales always own the market. Traders think that they can say what's going to happen in the market, but they really can't. They can only do it until it doesn't work. And, when it doesn't work, what are you saying? Like what's your reasoning? Oh, it didn't work. Okay, well, obviously the seasoned and the veteran and the reasonable trader will be like, well, trading is not necessarily a fact. Obviously, we know that to be true. And as traders go, traders are going to follow the patterns that have existed in the past to help us gauge what's going to happen in the future. And that's all a chart is. The chart is nothing more than just a representation about what humans did with their Bitcoin over a course of time. Margin trading is the death of what we know right now as crypto. Like it's really really squeezing us hard, Jim. And I don't know how much you know about margin trading. I know you're not a margin trader, but you go to BitMEX, you can literally go and times 100 any amount of Bitcoin that you put in your wallet, right? You
Yep.
could times 100, and in response to your times 100, you're also going to get hit with a if it goes to this price, $50 below, if you times 100 yourself, if it goes $50 below this number, your buying price, you're going to get liquidated, and you're going to lose everything you got. So I don't recommend anybody ever go on BitMEX, especially if you're American. You're not allowed to anyways. But if you were to go on there, I would definitely never ever margin trade. Now, most of you are going to, not most of you, a lot of you will go to BitMEX and margin trade, especially you non-Americans, and you could do well. But I always call BitMEX the great Bitcoin casino, because that's what it is. It's a roll of the dice. I don't care how much TA you do. You can get lucky. You can get consistently lucky, because you're lucky not because you predicted it right. That's not what I mean by luck. You're lucky that it didn't do something else. And it's
Yep.
a ticking time bomb. It is. It's a ticking time bomb. How many times have we seen? Well, we saw a $3,500, $3,000 run like what, a month ago, Jim? I mean, like, it was crazy, right? It was
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, insane. I mean, like, predict that for me, folks.
Well, so if you're not allowed to use those things, if you're American, obviously there are people that probably still do. I don't know. I mean, like you said, I don't have really personal experience with those places. But so what do people use, like a VPN or something, set up different accounts?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, not
Yep.
that we're gonna give you step by step, but what's like, say you get caught doing that, then what happens? Anything?
It's first and foremost, I am not a tax attorney. I'm not an attorney at all, and I'm also not a law enforcement officer, right? So I don't want to pretend like this is a factual, but the worst case scenario that I see on a common day is BitMEX would shut your account down and allow you, to withdraw your funds, but you had 7 days to close your position, right? So it's not like they're just going to like completely screw you over. They're just going to make you close your position and get out, and withdraw your money. But that, to me, that's not the issue. The issue is more so, why are you margin trading, folks? Get out of there. Stop doing that to the market, man. We don't need to pretend like we have all this volume. Stop. You're going to lose more money than you're going to win unless you're really, really good. And most people have to go learn. I had to go learn myself. I remember the first time I lost a whole Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin, when I first learned about BitMEX, Bitcoin was only $1,500 or so. And I mean, you lose a Bitcoin, guess what? I lost a Bitcoin that I would be holding right now,
Well, I'm looking at some of the news right now, and looks like your boy Mark Cuban, Dallas
Yes,
Maverick
sir.
billionaire. He says the headline here is no chance for Bitcoin to become a reliable currency. Cuban said to an email answering a question regarding any type of future scenario in which he sees Bitcoin become a reliable currency. Not because it can't work technically, although there are challenges, it could, but rather because it's too difficult to use, too easy to hack, way too easy to lose, too hard to understand, too hard to assess a value.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
also
yeah.
said the billionaire also pointed out the vast number of other rival crypto assets available, adding that it is too much work for people to know why Bitcoin over everything else. I mean, a lot of good points, I would say. Maybe
He's not saying anything that's not unheard of,
sure. Although I never like him anyways. Screw him. Screw
I don't.
basketball.
I
don't
got a
like
lot of respect.
either.
Fair enough. I got a lot of respect for Mark Cuban. I think he's an incredible entrepreneur. He's somebody
Yep,
who not only was able to capitalize on a bubble market, someone who recognizes certain ways, but I mean, he's also been able to compound his success into multiple ventures, and I respect that. Bitcoin's not for everybody, and if you're already rich, Bitcoin's probably not for you either, right? You're already set in your ways, and you've already made your money. But it's not all about making money, first off, but secondly, these people don't have a reason to need Bitcoin. They don't need it to work, right? And they don't look at it in a way, they see it all as speculation, because any money that they're risking at this point is truly risk for them. They've already got rich, right, Jim? So
Yeah.
if you're sitting there with millions or billions of dollars, what, like, you don't necessarily have to go and do something to make more money, right? You're either just really money hungry and you're greedy, or maybe you're just bored and you just want to go do cool things with your money, whatever it is. What's up, Michael? But what's up, Chris? But I cannot for the life of me even put myself in that position. I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not a billionaire. I won't ever be able to relate to that, anytime soon. I hope I can one day. But Jim, I mean, if you had $1 billion, would you go and start speculating on Bitcoin? Like, what do you got to win there?
Yeah, but then yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't like. I guess I don't like him just on general. I don't like his face.
That's fair.
Yeah, sport.
But interchange Mark Cuban for every other billionaire, right? And they're sitting there. What's up, Park? They're sitting there and they're probably being asked about Bitcoin. I doubt that Mark Cuban's going around saying, "Hey, let me tell you about my opinion on Bitcoin, folks." No, someone's prodding him. Someone's asking him. He's finally like, "Okay, this is what I think."
Yeah, he's been asked a few times. He actually did relate it to baseball cards, similar to what we were talking about last week. But he also said it had less utility than something like baseball cards.
Oh, shit.
At least I can look at my baseball card and go, ooh, that's my favorite player. That's Roberto Clemente.
Sure.
He'd rather have bananas than crypto. But he also
bananas what for $125,000, right? So
he did say that, yeah, it's a collectible. If you consider art or gold a viable, stable financial asset, then yes, it can be. But meanwhile, I guess the Dallas Mavericks do accept Bitcoin. So he's like, I'm not above accepting any type of currency. So
agreed. Yeah, and I think his context probably comes out a little bit more fuddy than it actually is.
Sure.
Yeah. He's been a proponent of the blockchain and crypto, and obviously as a shark, Shark Tank, he's invested in blockchain projects before, so he's not anti-blockchain, or I don't even think he's anti-Bitcoin. I just think he's being asked certain things about Bitcoin, and he's responding with a certain type of dialect or a certain type of answer that is, his honest opinion mixed with a little bit probably PC.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I'm just kind of hitting you. I'm hitting you with some of the different takes because I want to.
What do you think Jimmy Fallon thinks about Bitcoin?
Oh, he loves everything, so of course he would just love it. He's not going to say anything negative about it.
You love Jimmy Fallon. I mean, you got to as your backdrop.
I'm trying to see if I can take down your positivity, because actually, if I go to CCT Daily Post of the Day, well, this is my new segment, Jim's Daily Post of the Day on CCT.
Nice.
From Michael Saucedo. BTC's fixing to fall flat and feel the pain. This has been in the works since October 25th, and it's just now getting ready to get real for a lot of folks. I have it going to at least 65.05 in the near term, at which point it'll make a valiant effort to recover, making it around to 9,089. Unfortunately, this level will give false hope to those who seek it. It'll drop dramatically afterwards. This will take months, as there'll be some ups and downs, but the writing on the wall, and 10K will never be seen again in August of 2020. 62 comments as of this recording. So this person knows how to get people stirred up a little bit. Joe Blackburn, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you said Michael Cito is the author of that. He's actually watching right now, which is interesting. You said that. So
right. Well, you are the very first CCT post of the day. You did a good job. You threw out. You were bold. You threw out your opinion. You got people talking. You got eyes on it.
Yep.
Now we want to see what's going on here.
Yep. So, and here's his most recent comment here on the live as he's watching, and he acknowledges, I'm getting put on the spot. And he said, ever thought perhaps he's saying that in order to spread FUD so he could buy up more Bitcoin? Absolutely, by the way. And I say more because a true genius would already own it and never disclose that info. He's rich for a reason. And it's almost contradictory, but it's not, Michael, to your post on CCT. And I love that you did the CC post of the show, post of the day. And it's a fair point though. I can't sit here and say that you're wrong, Michael. Do I think you're wrong? More than likely I do. I don't think you even believe that fully, what you wrote on there. I think that you would probably be, if you're honest with yourself, you would not rule out going back to 20K within the next 6 months, if not less. I mean, it's possible because this market does that. We watched Bitcoin literally go from $7,000 on Thanksgiving 2017 to $20,000 by, the end of December. I mean, of 2017, obviously. Anything can happen. But again, I bring this up, like, let's erase the fact that Bitcoin went to 20,000. We can't. The chart's real. It's on there. But I mean, like, we were $6,000-$7,000 November after a nice steady climb the whole year. All right, all the way from $800-$700 all the way to $6,000-$7,000, which was too high even at that moment, But putting aside the fact that it went to 20K, if you just look at that run up in that 1 year, it's pretty healthy. I don't want to say organic. I mean, there's a lot of new money, a lot of new interest, a lot of new people, but it should never have run up to 20K. It just never should have, right? But because it has, it opens up the opportunity for it to do it again on a higher level. Now, Josh, you brought up something. I was going to address it. I know you just posted again. Do you guys think that Binance is in financial trouble behind the scenes? I work with a lot of businesses, and the behavior shoots red flags to me. I have been thinking that for a year, Josh. I think them separating themselves from the U.S. because traditionally Binance hasn't really cared about what the U.S. thinks. Now that they are really, really successful, I actually have a lot of respect for CZ. I think he's done things on a business level at an exceptionally brilliant level. But but before I get too much on that, I want to go back to the other post about the coordinated dump today. I mean, was it coordinated? I don't really know. In fact, I missed that, and especially if everybody was talking about it today, I need to go back and look. And I hate that I'm not caught up on that drama. But the potential that there was a coordinated dump is absolutely there. I don't want to pretend like it didn't happen, But to the whole big main point, I think it all ties in, Jim, right here, and it's that we are in crypto, and crypto is we acknowledge how crypto is so effed up and so messed up and so out of the ordinary, but anything that's ordinary is not ordinary in crypto, and we're not even okay with it being ordinary. Like if things are just steady, like everybody's waiting and pushing and wanting something crazy to happen, right? And this is a bad deal long term. Like this mindset has to change. And it's this expectation that these ICOs put on everything, including, I mean, I was guilty of this. I openly admit that. But Jim, if you look back and you tell me the history of this decade and a year, that's January 3rd, it's 11 years, right? This whole time period, man, it's been a pretty roller coaster, tumultuous, up and down, highs and lows type of experience. It's like the people who are in this, we're all crazy. We are crazy. So it's not weird that people who are normal and have conservative financial principles and a lifestyle aren't jumping up and down to get in right now. They've seen enough. I mean, like we've given them enough to think that this isn't right, right? So this is all going to eventually slow down. The new money will continue to come in. The new people will continue to come in, and the millennials will take Bitcoin into the next generation, right? It's here to stay, folks. It's not going anywhere. And we're at the bottom of the barrel. I don't care if we're talking about $1,000 or $10,000. Bitcoin can be 500, 600, 700 $1 million one day. It can be that high. It can because of a math problem. You can do the math. It can literally, there's 7 billion people. If the world went to the shit and there was a huge disaster, Bitcoin might be the only thing working, I mean, it is what it is. It's a math problem.
And I think we've kind of talked about this in the past, but say the halving or the halvening, as I think you refer to it sometimes.
I call it the halvening just because it sounds cool.
Yeah. Say that doesn't quite have an effect that people are expecting. Does more of the bottom fall out in that respect?
Man, the halving is going to lead up in price. Man, that's a good question because it could already be built in right now, right? People expecting the people to make it go higher. They could have bought in anticipation that they know next year it's going to go up, right? So you could already have that built-in price. Maybe that's what 14K was. Who knows?
Yeah, even like the way people are kind of down right now, but it's more these are just corrections because the big jumps throughout the year were kind of out of the ordinary more than anything.
And you've had throughout the year, you've had major news sources and major news, agencies put out information about Bitcoin and the halving and what's traditionally happened and the cycles. And so people get excited and they see it. And they're like, oh, I got to get in now because it's early and it's cheap and I can get back in. And by the time this next year happens, this is the price. And then they got to deal with everything in between because they bought a year early in their mind. At this point now they're selling because it's not happening today. And, it's not going up like they anticipated. So it's just human nature, man. This is a human nature market. Look, I'll be here. I'll give you a good example. Go back to baseball cards. A player, Luka Doncic, right? He's the Mavericks guard who is 20 years old and just killing it, right? He's averaging 30 points a game. He's pretty much averaging a triple-double, which is unheard of for a 20-year-old. But the kid's been playing professional basketball since he was 16. He goes and has an incredible game. All of a sudden, you go on to eBay, his card prices that night go up by $10, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking about, a $60 card. Now it's $70, okay, for his rookie card. And it's probably more than that, but just for the context. But the next day, it's back to $60, right? And it's just this FOMO mentality. Oh, man, I'm going to go buy it. And because I just watched this kid go drop 42 points and get 10 rebounds and 14 assists. I better go get his Rick card right now. And most of these people don't care what they bought it at because they're buying it, they're going to hold it, they're going to keep it, and they're going to have it when the kid is no longer a kid and he's an adult and he's about to retire at 35 years old, about to go to the Hall of Fame one day, because he's got 3 MVPs and 2 championships, whatever. But these people bought it at 60, $70 when they could have got it for 40 or 50 maybe, right?
Sure.
However, 15 years later, do you care if you bought it for 40 or 50 or 60 or $70? Yeah.
No, not really.
You don't. You really don't. In fact, you'll be like, I bought it for $70, and you won't even talk about how that was the highest price at the time. You'd be like, dude, I got this car for $70. 15 years later, it's worth $1,000, right?
Unless
That's a hell of a return.
He just fizzles out and forgotten, and then it's worth like
that happens too.
Well, or I guess a more morbid take would be like when like a celebrity dies, and then people are like, whether it be a musician, they're all buying their music up or looking for memorabilia and like signed autographs and stuff like that, because now it's like, ooh, this might be worth more because, Madonna ain't signing CDs no more.
Well, and how true is that though? Like there's a collector for that, right? And I don't want to, Bitcoin's not a collector's item. And I disagree with that aspect that Mark Cuban was saying, but sure. I think it's relevant to how human nature works and how knee-jerk we are and how we hear news, we instantly need to react. And Bitcoin is the living, breathing embodiment of the knee-jerk reaction of millennials, right? I mean, it is. It's being driven by expectations that at times have no credibility to the news, whether it's fake news, whether it's real. They don't care. They just heard news. They're going to react because they think other people are going to react a certain way, because they're going to react a certain way because they want to either look cool or they want to be around that I guess what has transpired. They want to sound like they were there for that. Everybody's got to have an opinion, whether it's on Twitter about politics, whether it's about Bitcoin, whether it's about sports. It doesn't matter. Everybody wants to be the first to react or the first to have news. And the Bitcoin market reacts that way. Right? It's the living embodiment of what the millennial generation believes is the proper way to act, which is ridiculous, by the way. F you millennials, you got to get your shit together.
Well, what if it's going to take for the Zoomers to do it, since the millennials don't get it done? That's the Generation Z, the Zoomers. Okay.
So when you say Zoomers, educate me because I'm out of this loop.
Well, millennials are basically born between.
I'm a millennial,
technically. Born between like 80, 81, and 96.
Yeah, now I'm 85.
A lot of people like forget that because I think when people talk millennials, sometimes they think even younger.
I think high school kids.
But I think those are more
college kids.
Yeah, the Zoomers are on the come up, dude. The Zoomers are coming quick. Like, get ready.
The Zoomers are behind the millennials, huh?
Yes, they're basically 9.
Zoomers sound so much cooler than millennial.
Well, but not really, because not if you're related to boomers. Everyone hates boomers. So.
I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. Okay, makes sense.
So, but the Zoomers are on the come up, my dude. Like they're a little bit of both. They're a little bit country and a little bit rock and roll.
Hey, well, look, we have our first admittance of part of the. Josh said massively coordinated. Apparently, Baz was part of that, right? Obviously, I'm just kidding, Baz. I know that be the case. For those listening on the podcast, Baz, I'm putting up his quote or his comment on the live video. It says, "I'm proud to say that I have sold 4 of my shitcoin bags." LOL. Right, and earlier Josh had said that there was a massively coordinated sell-off today. It was just kind of funny.
So yeah,
okay, Boomer.
What's going on with the shit coins?
Oh man, like it's been, it just can't catch a break, bro. They can't catch a break. I thought we were gonna have an alt season pretty soon, but it's just been one of those things, man. It's just been frustrating, aggravating, and for those listening, I'd love to know what your thoughts are. There's certain coins, and I really love to know what the public thought about. Hodgkins coming out saying, well, Charles himself with ADA, he said that ADA is going to have the best 2020. They're going to have an incredible 2020. And I mean, I've been an ADA holder, follower, lover since it came out, vaporware or not. I mean, I was defending ADA when it first was announced, and then someone's like, it's vaporware. I'm like, vaporware? No, it's not. I didn't even know what vaporware meant at the time, But anyways, there's a lot of coins. Good point, Baz. Let's talk about the margin trading of Binance. CZ has to stop it. I agree. It's actually the worst thing to ever happen to crypto was CZ's decision to allow margin trading. So Baz, good point there. Cardano survives and thrives easily. I completely agree with that. I think ADA. This is as a whole. It's got the infrastructure, Jim. It's got
Yeah.
the leadership. It's got the idea to at least establish themselves as one of the companies that can actually prevail in this. Will they? Who knows? I do think they're going to have a really strong and really bright moment in the sun, and they'll either capture that moment, like Eminem says, or they'll throw up on their sweater with mom's spaghetti.
Is this all going to be propelled by this boxing match? Because I don't know anything about ADA or Cardano, but when I Google it, all I can see is issues with Jason Appleton has set up a boxing match with YouTuber Chico Crypto and ADA founder Charles Hoskinson. Do you know anything about the boxing match?
I hope Charles isn't fighting. Surely Charles is not the one fighting. It doesn't say that, does it?
Let me see.
I mean, Charles, for all the amazing things that this man is,
now this,
a lot of people.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just going to say now this is kind of fun and cool, but does this stuff become more of a detriment where they're like, oh, hey, I'm hearing about this crypto coin, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, they're involved in a boxing match with like as if someone, is just kind of walking in and trying to figure out what's going on here. Is this good or bad?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm going to watch it. I'll watch it.
Oh, well, the profits go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. All right. So there you go. That actually, that makes things kind of a lot better here.
Hey, Greg.
Although, yeah, I guess, Charles must not be fighting from what I'm seeing. I think maybe he's like sponsoring it, or he just says, I'm in, let's raise $1 million for the kids.
There you go. There you go. I love it. But again, I hope Charles isn't the one fighting. Because if Charles is the one fighting, I'm betting on the other guy.
You're throwing shade on him? You don't think he's tough?
No, I don't. He's a little older. He's brilliant, but I'll put it to you this way. There are a few people that would lose that fight. And I'm calling you out, Charles. If you want to fight, I support you. I think what you're building is great. I hope that it works out, but I would be happy to box you, Charles, if you ever want to box me. That would be a freaking awesome exposure and an easy win.
Yeah, you got to get in the ring, dude.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, you thinking UFC? You thinking mixed martial arts?
No, not okay with that. No, let's not go there. I don't want to dig myself into some trap that I cannot get out of, or I will end up walking away. Like, you remember that guy who was talking all that smack? Like, I'm not even a UFC guy, right? There was a guy who was like talking all this crap about a pre-fight. It's expected.
Well, I mean, there's so many now. You're talking about like one of the Diaz brothers. You talking?
No, this guy, he's like in crypto, okay. But this dude got knocked out like in the first 8 seconds after talking massive amounts of crap, So to me, like, I don't want to get myself in that situation. I might end up, I will not fight John Kim. That's for damn sure. I will not. Chris just asked me if I'll fight John Kim. I will get my ass kicked by John Kim, and I would do it on some sort of event, but it would be ugly, and I would admit defeat prior to that interaction. That I have tremendous respect for John Kim. I don't want to hear him. I don't want him to hear me talk shit.
He's like what, the Litecoin ambassador, right? He's like security, like kick-ass dude. Yeah, you get rocked.
No, he is Charlie Lee's bodyguard, and he's been doing martial arts and fighting his entire life. I mean, I would fight him. Like, if like there was an actual event, like, and they're like, Joe, you're paired up with John Kim, I would go in there and I would bust his ass. I mean, he would get hit, but it might only be one time.
Yeah.
And then I would probably get hit a bunch.
You'd put up as much of a fight as you could.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a wuss. I mean, I'm going to go down fighting, but I might go down quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Chris, how about me and you, Chris? I think that's actually a pretty fair fight, right? Let's go, Chris. We'll do it for St. Jude's, Hey, take it easy on, bro. I got a reputation to protect. All right. Now, look, I got to give a big shout out to my boy Parker. He said, grin to the top. I already posted this up here and announced that Parker's a brand new miner. He's been mining Grin, so he's all excited about Grin. Also, I got to give him a big shout out. I know he's on Cloud 9. Lane Kiffin just got hired as the head football coach at Ole Miss. Me and Parker went to Ole Miss together. He's a college buddy of mine, good friend. He was in my wedding until he got food poisoning at my wedding, and then he was no longer in my wedding. But I love you, Park. Nonetheless, we're going to New Orleans together for my for New Year's, I think. So we decided that last night drunk.
Well, Josh in the chat, quote from CZ, our team is still investigating the data, but it's already clear that the Matic team has nothing to do with it. A number of big traders panic, causing a cycle. Going to be a tough call on how much an exchange should interfere with people's trading. Over 50 altcoins dropped at the same time, over 35%.
Ooh, that's what Josh was talking about. Yeah.
That's always the big fear, then, right? Like some of this manipulation that's going on, and people, outside sources getting involved and manipulating these prices.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but that's the nature of free market, man. You got to live with it. A lot of those coins have had massive gains too.
Yeah,
People
that's
like,
true. No one,
people only complain when
yeah,
it's negative, right? If they were
absolutely.
all going up at the same time, they'd be like, "Oh, it's a bull market." But Josh, to your point, agreed. I mean, it is what it is.
That is a great point, by the way. Yeah, if everything went up, we'd be like, "We're rich. This is great."
Yeah, never have to work again.
Because there's no thought of like nefarious, like
Nah, no, never. It's
it's
just
just
the
more like,
market.
of course not. I'm just intelligent. I'm just
Look how
involved in.
smart I am.
Yeah.
Josh,
Well,
hey, be honest. If you would you be mad if it all went up? Be honest, Josh. But yeah, but good point. And I'm glad you brought that up, though, Josh. I think it's a relevant. Obviously, there's something going on. 50 altcoins won't just drop at once. It's ridiculous.
now, like you mentioned, ADA. Then, like again, I don't really know anything about
Yep.
altcoins. So, like, what is it why you say like that's good, or has a good foundation, whatever
Yeah.
before?
So Charles Hoskinson he was the guy who was one of the original developers on Ethereum with Vitalik, and he's got a conceptualization of the blockchain and what the blockchain stands for, what it offers, what it can do. Right? He's also a businessman. The guy's smart. He's aware of the market. He's aware of the deficiencies of the people involved in it, and he's been one of the tried and true guys. He's just a brilliant dude. I look forward to interviewing him at some point. I will. I thought I was going to get him in Vegas because he was there, and as I asked him to interview with me, he was like, "Yeah, I'll be right there." And then I didn't get him. And it's just one of those things. You got to be persistent with these dudes. You just got to aggravate them, and it's just not in me to just be really aggravating to get people to interview with me. But he's approached by everybody. Obviously, he's a huge name in the space. But because of his experience, because of what he's done, Jim, because of his understanding of what's going to make this space work, I believe that he's onto something. And I thought EOS could do it, but they have humongous governance issues, man. EOS has huge issues. And I loved what Fred Krueger, on our podcast, and kind of explained things that were in his reasons behind links. But when you really think about like what is the blockchain going to actually do and how are you going to do it, you're really going to have a links, that's kind of established I guess an alternative at a really easy level. But links has obstacles too. They're going to have to get seen and heard and used. If you don't have users, you don't have anything. ADA has that base. They're already established. I mean, Charles has earned that reputation. He's earned the right to be able to say something and people do it, right? And not that Fred hasn't. Obviously, how much respect I have for Fred. But Links is going to have to really convince people to pay attention. ADA doesn't have as much of a problem. ADA comes with, and I'm talking about on the developer level, especially. Charles is well respected throughout the community. Not that Fred isn't, and I don't want to really compare the two, but just in this context, Charles doesn't have to work very hard to say, "Hey, look, respect me. This is what I've done." He's already can say, "Hey, look, you already know me because I've already done this. Now look what I've done." Right. So once ADA is released, once it's actually out there, mainnet's working, I expect to have a lot of momentum.
Nice. So now, are you looking more seriously at your altcoins now? Are you ready to ride a wave, or are they still just kind of in the back of your mind? Like, I'm not too concerned about them at the moment.
Yeah, I've had to tuck them away, man. I've had to tuck them away, and I'm just like probably the majority of the people in the space right now. I've been lied to too much. I've been expecting too much, and at this point, it's going to happen when it happens. I'm already part of the market cap. I'm not buying. I'm not selling anymore right now.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's fair. And Chris says, "What are you more interested in, FA or TA?" I hate TA. Doesn't mean it doesn't work at times, right, Chris? And I think I know you pretty well at this point. At least our interactions between CCT and the little that we know about each other. But Chris, I would say absolutely, I'm an FA guy. But by being an FA guy, I'm on a 10-year plan. I'm not on a 10-minute or 1 day or 1 week plan. I'm on a 10-year plan, right? So I'm going to buy, and I have and I own a lot of different little cryptocurrencies here and there, whether it's $5 worth or it's, $500 worth. I've got a lot. And they're spread out over hundreds at this point of cryptos, and I enjoy having them, but I'm not enjoying where they are right now, as I'm sure many of you can relate to.
Give me a quick surface breakdown on what that means, because when you guys say FATA, I mean, forgive my ignorance, but like,
no, thank you for reminding me to be sensible and explain this to everybody. So, just like anything else, any other market, you have technical analysis, right? Which is the technicals, the actualities. Like, this is what's showing, this is what's happening, this is the chart that I'm using, this is why I'm using this. These are indicators. These are the things that, yeah, I remember, Chris. Just saying in general, but overall with TA is this ability to predict based off of the previous instances. FA is what are the meat and potatoes, like why should this exist? What is the actual the analysis of what is actually made up of this project. TA does not take into account, is this an actual project? Does it care? They're only taking into account what other traders are doing because of what the chart shows. So
sure.
If you got a bunch of traders looking to trade something, they go through 15, 20, 30 different altcoins, Jim, and they're going to find one that's bottomed out that's only going to go up from here on out, right? And so you're going to look at the chart, you're going to find that coin, you're going to buy it, and many other people are going to do the exact same thing because it's showing up on a TA level. It's showing up as a buy. There's an indicator that says buy. FA, fundamental analysis, is what are the fundamentals of the actual project? What exists within that? Is there anything to it? Is this something that's going to sustain? Does it have a business model? Who's part of the team? Why is it doing this? And it's a long-term, prediction based off of the factors that are involved in what makes business great, right? So if you got a great team, you got a good business plan, you got revenue coming in, obviously that's a business model that I want to get involved in, potentially, right?
Sure.
And, so the FA, the fundamental analysis, or the TA, the technical analysis, they're very, very different things. You can use them together, but crypto hasn't had much of a use for fundamental analysis. And I was a huge FA guy long-term, and it's been proven to be wrong. Right. Not to say that the traders were right, because no trader ever told me in 2017 that we were going to go up to $20,000. Not any rational trader. Right. So those idiots, telling me that it was going to 20,000, nobody took them seriously. They were idiots, and they were idiots. They were just saying that. Nobody actually knew it was going to 20K. Right. So let's not pretend like these people are right. They just got lucky. Although nobody told me 20K. Just for the record.
So it's kind of like a little bit more leaning towards what you believe is quality.
What's going to actually exist.
Which definitely more of a long-term idea behind that than studying.
And by the way, as a human being, Jim, I cannot recommend something based on TA. I won't, right? Yeah. And not that I'm recommending anything anyways. I'm too scared to do that these days, right? Learn my lessons. But regardless, I have projects that I think are going to do really well. And I know those projects. I own those projects. I don't talk about them. I don't say anything. I'm not trying to incite people to go and buy what I bought to enhance the price value. I don't want that to happen. I think I feel confident already. I don't need to add to the excitement that exists. There are several that I believe that are honest and legitimate, projects. And they're going to make it. Someone's going to figure it out, folks. Look, this is a free market. If you can't tell me that these crypto projects can't figure out a way to make people buy their coin and make that coin profitable for their holders, you're an idiot. Like, somebody's going to figure it out, folks.
Yeah,
it's not going to be hard.
Yeah, the magic recipe people are looking for, right?
It blows my mind that anybody doubts that any altcoin can ever succeed. Altcoins are the future of every microtransaction on planet Earth because nobody else offers microtransactions. Right? Or micro investments, excuse me. Sorry, I'm replaced microtransaction with micro investment. Micro investments are going to be fueled by the blockchain because nobody else is allowing it. Hopefully that makes more sense.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense.
And most of the world doesn't have money to go do major investments. They have micro investment type of money. Look, if you had an extra $5 and you could just potentially invest that anytime you wanted, would you do it, Jim? Like occasionally?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, like it would be like, okay, yeah, I'll put $5 here.
Yeah, it's like buying a scratch off or something.
Exactly. I mean, it's better than a scratch off because more than likely it's going to pay off long term.
For sure.
And so like if those things are offered at a really like accessible level. Now, what's the problem with that? Obviously, there is the SEC wants to get involved now, right? And so there is a lot of gray area that makes people scared or makes legitimate companies stay away from this opportunity. But within the next decade, this is going to be figured out. Somebody's going to freaking figure it out, Jim. And don't miss the boat.
Well, because also what you got to figure out, you got to make sure you're greasing the right palms, right?
That's right.
Like,
yeah.
people see that there's potential, and then whether it be government or taxes or whatever, they're like, "Well, wait a minute, where's our piece? You got to get the palms greased."
That's right.
Capitalism, be.
Yep. And I'm a huge proponent of capitalism. I'm a huge proponent of the free market. What happens with the free market? Well, guess what? You might occasionally buy a scam.
Yeah.
It's the price you pay. Like, you are not exonerated from ever purchasing a scam. And you can't blame people, folks. You cannot. There's a lot of people who screwed me over. Have you ever heard me publicly go live talking about how, hey, guess what? I believed in this person. They screwed me over. They lied to me. I've never done it. You know why? I've accepted my own responsibility. And I accept the people that think that it's my responsibility to lead properly, which it is. And I take that very seriously. But at the same time, it's also your responsibility, right? It's your responsibility. How many people did you tell to buy Bitcoin when it was 15 grand? And, now you're paying the price for it, but you want to blame somebody else. No. They're blaming you, right? You're blaming somebody else. But regardless, somebody's going to figure out how to make all this bullshit, crazy crypto world make sense, put it together, micro investments, awesome opportunities to make money long term, and whether you turn your $5 into $25, which is a 500% or 400%, 500% profit, or you turn it into your $5,000 into 10,000, which is 100% profit. It's all about relativity. You buy a bunch of those $5 investments, you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't think there'd be anything wrong if someone fucked you over, though, and then you just came out and was like, "Hey, this guy's a scam artist."
I've been waiting for the right moment, Jim.
But I guess that's different than just like investing in something and the investment doesn't work out. That's not always necessarily a scam. That's just sometimes, either you did research, whatever.
Failed business.
But because it's like, if you go to a restaurant, get bad service, you're going to go on Yelp, let people know.
Exactly right. Now, and speaking of Yelp, you got Bravo Coin, who we've had on before. I think things like that exist on the blockchain for a reason, and they will take over one day. And I think Bravo's way ahead of the game. I love what Chris just mentioned. Cash App now has fractional shares. You can buy $5 worth of Berkshire Hathaway, $300,000 stock price. Exactly. The blockchain exists for that purpose, though, right? The Cash App offers it, but honestly, there is no better place for that to happen than blockchain. Is crypto anywhere close to ready for that, Jim? No, they're not. They're not.
Why not?
The immaturity of the market.
Just not,
Berkshire Hathaway doesn't want me.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want you. They want, they want that their stock price is $300,000 a share for a reason, because mature and honest and real, I say honest loosely, should I say, but real people with real money are investing. If I was a company owner, I wouldn't want to put my company on the blockchain right now. Get a bunch of hate mail, man. Get blasted all over Twitter. Oh, you're a scam. I'm sitting there trying to make money, and I got to deal with my Twitter account. Like, what the hell, folks? Leave me alone. Let me try to make some money.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get this paper. Let's stack these bags.
That's right. I mean, you got to give some of these companies a chance, man. I mean, think about this, Jim. A traditional startup out of Silicon Valley. How many startups start up and fail? Most of them, right? I would say most of them fail. They may figure out something, maybe they get bought up, whatever. I don't know what failure actually means in this context, but for the most part, I would say that the majority of startups are not as successful as they hope to be. That's the easy way to say that. Is that failure?
No, I mean, especially when you're talking about like the startup game, because at least from an outsider's perspective, it's like their failure is that, everyone still got paid. They still got an investor to pump some cash into their company. They're all walking away pretty well in the end. It's not the same as like,
that's right.
Some guy on a assembly line in a factory when the factory closes, and that's like failure,
And so the startup who is using somebody else's money to finance an idea or a concept that potentially could work, And as Chris just pointed out, the majority of startups fail. Exactly. And it's really just when it comes down to startups, it's typically one, two, maybe five investors, an angel, whatever it might be. These people come in, they throw $5 million because they got a ton of money that they made somehow. They throw a ton of money at like 25 different projects. If one of them works out, they're probably going to do better than what they already had, right? That's the idea of this, right? So $5 million here, $5 million there. If your company doesn't work out and he has one, he'll never even think about you again, or he or she, whatever it might be. But in crypto, you turn an angel investor into like 5,000 different angel investors on a small level that actually have no equity in the company. And so it's a bunch of loud noise for no reason with anticipations that the coin is going to go up in value for whatever reason that is in the tokenomics. And it's a really interesting concept. And it's something that, I've been suckered into to a certain extent. And now we're going to see the next evolution of these startups on the blockchain turn into an equity or a profit sharing revenue system through these coins. But there's a lot of red tape legally that has to happen. And that's why you've seen this gap right now. There's this gap right at this moment, Jim, of companies waiting to do the next blockchain. The blockchain 2.0, blockchain 3.0 is next. Okay. It's going to step up. It's going to become something and it's going to actually work. Right? We've seen these days of these old coins that existed for no reason. Well, guess what? These shells that still exist, someone might come up and buy them and reproduce or recreate the idea of what this company was trying to do. Who knows? But putting them aside, considering them failures, moving forward, the next age of blockchain ICOs is coming. Right? I don't know what's going to be called. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to work. That's what it's going to do. That's the difference. It's going to freaking work. So for people to group ICOs or STOs or whatever it might be in the same category, you haven't seen nothing yet, folks. You're an idiot if you don't think somebody's going to come in here and figure it out. But there's too much money in this space for somebody not to come in here and figure it out, make everybody a little bit of money up front, and make sure that their company can work. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It's going to happen.
Well said. State of the Union. Mic drop. What else is there to say?
Jewel drop.
Yeah.
No, but I fully believe that, and I would argue that with anybody. If you ever want to come in here and argue with me that it's all done, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty well said. I don't know what else to add or what else to go.
That's it. And we'll actually wind it down because we're coming up on our hour. But hey, folks, look, we want you to enjoy the show. We want you to be contributing. Also, we want to hear what you want to hear. We want to do what makes sense to you. What do you want to hear? If you want to come on the show, if you want 5 minutes to come say your piece, we want you on. Right? Let us know. We've had a lot of idiots try to join the show over the times, and we're trying to be very careful. But we decided we're gonna start hosting and allowing people to join the show for 2, 3, 5 minutes at a time, depending on what they want to talk about. Hang up. Hey, Joe, Jim, first time caller, long time listener, whatever. Please, we want you to come on. We want to have your thoughts. We want to appreciate what's going on, inside the mind of the average crypto folk. Just waiting on Joe going on Jim and them. Yep. Hey, look, it's never better. Parker, yeah. Thank you, sir. I'm looking forward to my first appearance on Jim and them. I can't wait to share that in CCT, but I haven't been invited yet, Jim. I mean, Parker. So, or Jim.
We gotta figure it out, man, because it's not quite the same. Like everyone's in the room, so it's hard to just like pipe someone in. I mean, I guess you can call in through Skype or whatever. You're gonna be at a disadvantage. I'll let you know at ahead time, just because it's always tougher on the phone.
Well, come to Vegas.
Yeah,
I was in Vegas. I wasn't invited, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Wasn't invited. Yeah, you know who wasn't invited? Me, not invited to the Cardi B show and the Top Golf VIP. This guy's got VIP treatment, acting like he's gonna roll through my studio instead.
What? Yeah. You were kind of breaking up there, Jim. I didn't hear what you said. What was that? No, obviously I look forward to my first ever appearance with Jim and them, whenever that might be, probably 10 years from now. But if that happens one day, Parker, you'll be the first to know. I thank you for asking.
You'll be coming into the Lion's Den, but yeah, it'll happen. Don't worry.
Oh, good. All right. But as I was stating before that awesome comment by Park Dog, I would want to encourage anybody who wants to come on. Let me know. I'll make sure that we have some time for you. We'd love to hear your opinion. We would love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to argue with you or agree with you. Come on. Let's have a real man's conversation. A real woman's conversation. Let's do it. Jim, any final thoughts before I sign us off?
No. I think you said it well, and yeah, I think yeah, people need to get that invite out there, because I think the important thing is getting some you guys on, because I think Joe does a great job, obviously, with Bitcoin Radio. We get people from the space.
Joe and Jim do a great job.
Getting people from the space that are working on projects here and about some different things in the works, things in the pipe. But I think the biggest untapped resource are you guys out there, hearing from people that are, whether it be their day trading or just standard investing, and what they like to see. Because I don't know if you hear enough from some of the average Joes, and I'm not talking Joe Blackburn. He's above average, my dudes.
That's what's up. Occasionally. Sometimes I'm not. I've been sick, so I'm a little below average today, but it's always at a high level still, nonetheless. All right, folks, you heard it from Jim himself. Come on the show, be a grown person, be a grown adult. Come on here, have a respectful conversation. We can always have you on. Yeah, and I want to make sure that I appreciate that I let everybody know that I appreciate your thoughts, your opinions, and even you listening. Obviously, it means a lot. Next year is coming up very quick, folks. We have a very awesome, exciting game plan for Bitcoin Radio. And as this has it's getting bigger and better every single week. We're getting more exposure. We're getting quoted. We're being shared. It means a lot. It's really cool, and a lot of that has to do with what you guys do and share and obviously offer as far as a social on social media, but also in different other podcasts we're popping up, or we're being invited to different places, and it feels good to be recognized on that level. I mean, it's only a matter of time, as far as outlasting a lot of the spam and scam and bullshit that exists out there on voices. A lot of really talented people who just have no idea what they're talking about. I think me and Jim are really set a tone for what we want this to be next year. And hopefully, we'll be doing this several times a week on a live basis at some point. But we can't do it without you, the listener. And I just want to make sure we thank you for that. And Christmas coming up. Make sure you do something for somebody else. Look, the cryptoverse belongs to all of us. What are you doing for it? I know what I'm doing. Hey, I know what this guy over here is doing, Jim. Right? But what are you doing? That's what I don't know. Are you just mining? Are you doing anything else? Help somebody where you can. Till next time, everybody, here on Bitcoin Radio, WBTC, where Bitcoin lives.
Yes.